And we are back. Predictions. Week 3. Last week we went an amazing 13-3 somehow. That puts our season total to 20-11-1. Instead of telling you all the games I got right, I'll just tell you the games I got wrong. I got the Titans and Bills wrong. I got the Bengals and Cowboys wrong. And I got the Jets and Browns wrong. Speaking of Jets and Browns, if you didn't know, I did a series for the first 2 weeks where I picked a team to win, and if that team won, I kept to keep going. If they lost, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's called it's called the Eliminator Challenge. It's on ESPN if you want. You can look at it. I picked the Browns to win. They didn't win, so we're no longer going to be doing that. And we might bring it back next season. Starting out, though, we have Thursday, 8:15 p.m. We have the Steelers and the Browns. Both these teams are 1-1. Steelers, they managed to lose in a close game, 17-14 to the Patriots. And the Browns, they managed to lose their game, 31-30. After choking the lead away, all they needed to do was recover the onside kick and they win. Couldn't do that. I think the Browns are going to have a bounce-back game, though. I think they're going to win this game in relatively easy fashion. The game's going to be close, but I feel like the Browns are going to kind of dominate stat-wise. So I'm going to take the Browns to win. Next, we have our slate of 1 o'clock games. Starting out, potential game of the week, maybe game of the year. We have the Bills and Dolphins. First, the Bills blowout win 41-7 over the Tennessee Titans. And the Dolphins, they come from behind to win against the Patriots 42-38. Personally, I think the Bills are going to win this game. I feel like they are the better team, even though both teams are 2-0. Both teams have looked very good in both the games they have played. I think the Bills are just a better team. Next, we have the Bengals and Jets. The Bengals are 0-2. Jets are 1-1. The Bengals, they lose off of a game-winning field goal against the Cowboys. And the Jets, they come from behind and win 31-30 against the Browns. Now, we saw these teams play last year, and the Jets did beat the Bengals, in a very close one. That was a legendary Mike White game. Do I think history's going to repeat itself? No. You got to look, though. Joe Flacco, currently second in the league in passing yards. He probably knows the Bengals very well from his stint with the Ravens. I think the Jets could very easily win this game, but I'm going to take the Bengals. Next, we have the Raiders and the Titans. Two teams who are 0-2, both teams who made the playoffs last year. Very shocking to see both these teams at 0-2. The Titans, they got blown out against the Bills. And the Raiders, they lost in the end to the Cardinals. They choked away their lead. Both these teams are solid, I think. I think both these teams could easily win the playoffs, especially the Titans, because you look at the division there, and the Jaguars are leading. Yeah. The Raiders, they might have a harder time because, it's going to be a lot harder to get one of the free wild card spots when you have, the Chiefs and Chargers in the division at the moment. I think the Raiders aren't going to win this game. I'm picking the Titans. I think the Titans are going to come, stop this losing streak and start getting back on schedule. Next, we have the Saints and Panthers. Saints, 1-1. Panthers, 0-2. Panthers, they lose to the Giants in sad fashion. They lost barely. And the Saints, they held Tom Brady pretty good through 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, they kind of lost it. They lose that game 20-10. I think the Panthers will win this game. This is a division game. You never really know. I feel like even though the Saints are far superior of a team, Jameis Winston, he is battling through an injury with his ribs. I think the Panthers are going to take advantage of that, and they're finally going to get their first win of the season. Next, we have the Ravens and the Patriots. The Ravens, who are currently 1-1. Patriots also 1-1. The Ravens, they lose in sad fashion to the Dolphins after choking away in the 4th quarter. They lose 42-38. And the Patriots, they win 17-14 in a close one against the Steelers. Both these teams, very famous historically. Both these teams, I feel like, are going to be playoff teams. At least the Ravens. Patriots going to be, either wild card or a team who barely misses. I think the Ravens will win this game, though. I think what we saw last week with the Dolphins. The Ravens are a great team, and they lost to a team that's also very good. Patriots, on the other hand, they kept it close with the Steelers, who my personal opinion, are a mid-tier team, but I mean, that's still pretty good. Next, we have the Lions and the Vikings. Both these teams 1-1. Both these teams in the NFC North. The Lions, they've looked really good so far. They get a win over the Commanders, 39-20, 38-27, something like that. Flip over 36-27. And the Vikings, they lose 24-7 to the Eagles, who are one of the top teams. This one, I feel like, has a lot of potential. The Vikings, we know what they are, even though Justin Jefferson got held very well against the Eagles. Darius Slay is a great corner. I think we're going to have a great game here, definitely, because we know what the Vikings are. They've always been, either a playoff team or just barely missing. And the Lions, they've been bad, but they're on the up and coming for sure. And I think the Lions aren't going to win. I think it's going to be the Vikings. Next, we have the Commanders and the Eagles. Eagles 2-0, Commanders 1-1. Eagles get the win on Monday night against the Vikings, 24-7, and the Commanders lose to the Lions, 36-27. We literally just talked about. What? That's so interesting. Those four teams we talked about, they played each other last week. That's actually kind of cool. But anyway, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. The Commanders, Carson Wentz looks pretty solid, but the Eagles' offense and defense is just probably too much for that Commanders team, who I can't really tell. I can't tell if they're, improving or if they're kind of staying the same where they were. Next, we have the Colts and Chiefs. Colts 0-2. Colts 0-2. Excuse me, the Colts are 0-1-1. I actually have that written down wrong in my notebook. I'm glad I noticed that. Okay, anyway, Colts 0-1-1. They tied Texans week 1. And week 2, they lose 24-0 against the Jaguars, which I didn't expect to be that bad. Because historically, the Jaguars have played well against the Colts when it's in Jacksonville. Chiefs are 2-0. They pick up the win on Thursday night against the Chargers after coming back and winning. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. You look at them. The Chiefs, they're just a better team. Chargers are way better than the Jaguars, and plus the Chiefs beat the Chargers. Speaking of, that's another example we have. One in between. The Chiefs and Colts played the Jaguars and Chargers. Chiefs played Chargers. Colts played Jaguars. And we have that matchup again. The Chargers and Jaguars are going to play each other. What? Great job, NFL. This is actually cool. Anyway. Next. I'm picking Chiefs, by the way. I don't know if I said. Next, we have the Texans and Bears. Both of these teams 1-1. Actually, the Texans are 0-1-1. Texans, they barely lose to the Broncos, Broncos, great roster, but they don't really, play well at the moment. They haven't played very well. They've scored 16 points in both of their games. That's 32 points. Texans have scored 29. So, yeah. And the Bears, they got kind of blown out on Sunday night against the Packers, 27-10. I feel like this is going to be a very good, bad game. Neither of these teams are going to compete for a playoffs. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Sorry, Bears and Texans fans, if you are optimistic. You guys aren't doing anything. But this game is probably going to be very good. These are two bad teams who are, I'd say, right around the same skill level, both competing for top 5 pick. I think the Bears are going to win this one, though. I really do. And that's it for the 1 o'clock games now. We head to the 4:05. We only have one. And that's the Jaguars and Chargers. Chargers, they lose to the Chiefs barely, 27-24. Very good game. And the Jaguars blow out the Colts 24-0, forcing Matt Ryan to throw 3 interceptions. Now you might be thinking, are the Jaguars a good team? No, they're not. Christian Kirk looked good, but that was... Just shut up, me. The Chargers are winning. Let's just move on. 4:25, we have a few of them now. We have the Rams and Cardinals. Rams and Cardinals both 1-1. Rams, they pick up the win against the Falcons. They almost choked away the win, but they didn't. That's what matters. Cardinals, they come from behind a win against the Raiders in an epic overtime game where Kyler Murray made many plays. And I think that's going to happen once again this week. I don't know, maybe about overtime, but Kyler Murray is going to look amazing this game. I think Cardinals are going to win this game. Because, I don't know if you saw last year, these teams played 3 times, 2 regular season, 1 playoffs. And the Cardinals destroyed the Rams both times in the regular season. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. Next, we have the Packers and Buccaneers. People think this could be game of the week. Let me tell you, I'm a Packers fan. I know exactly how this game's going to go. It's going to be, I don't know which half, but either the first half or the second half, I don't know. One half is going to be extremely interesting, and the other half is going to be extremely boring. That's just how it's going to be. I think the Buccaneers will win this game, though. We have to talk about it first. Packers, they beat the Bears 27-10 on Sunday night. Buccaneers, they beat the injured Saints with injured Jameis Winston 20-10. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game. I think it's going to be an ugly fashion, though. I think this is going to be an ugly game by both sides. And what I mean by ugly is, obviously, it's going to be a bad game. The stats aren't going to be anything impressive, but, it's going to be a good game because the score will be close. But the Buccaneers are going to have the edge. Next, we have our Final 425 game. We have the Falcons and the Seahawks. Falcons 0-2, Seahawks 1-1. Once again, I said this with the Bears-Texans. This is going to be a great bad game. 2 very bad teams not going to be competing for the playoffs. Sorry, Falcons and Seahawks fans, if you had any expectations. Not happening. Both teams competing for top 5 pick. This is going to be a good game, and I think the Falcons are going to get their first win of the series. If you haven't watched my Power Rankings video, you better do it now. I'm about to spoil it. I'll give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have the Falcons at 32, last place. And I have the Seahawks at 28. Those are 2 teams in the bottom 5 of my power rankings. Also, in case you're wondering, with the Bears-Texans, I have the Bears at 29 and the Texans at 25, so neither of them are doing anything special either. I think the Falcons will win this game, though. I think they're going to get the first win of the season for them. Now, we had the Sunday night, 8:20 p.m., 49ers and Broncos. People would be thinking, this is going to be a good game. Russell Wilson going to be playing the 49ers. He knows the 49ers very well. He's with the Seahawks his whole career until this point. No, it's not. Have you seen the Broncos so far? Broncos have to look hot garbage. They aren't a good team. They're a great roster, but not a good team. Part of it, Nathaniel Hackett, that kills me to say. He used to be on the Packers as a coordinator or something. I don't remember. He was offense coordinator. He just can't really work with Russ well enough. You literally had the fans counting down the play clock because there was a lot of delayed games. He literally had the kicker at a 54-yarder take a delayed game and then punt it instead of going for the 59-yarder. When in week 1, you gladly went for the 64-yarder. It makes no sense. The 49ers, they lose Trey Lance, probably going to be out majority of the season, if not all of it. I do think Jimmy G is better. Sorry, Trey Lance. So I think the 49ers will easily win this game because the Broncos cannot figure out what team they are. And finally, we have the 8:15 p.m. Cowboys versus Giants Monday Night Football. Giants 2-0, one of their 6 teams who are 2-0. And the Cowboys who are 1-1. Cowboys, impressive win against the Bengals. Very good first half. Second half, didn't look too well. You have to remember, though, Cooper Rush is your quarterback, not Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush. I think the Cowboys are a great team. They could potentially even make the playoffs with Cooper Rush. That's out. No, obviously not, because Dak Prescott's going to be back. And they're not going to, start Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott. You're paying Dak $40 million or something. But the Giants, they have Daniel Jones at quarterback. I'd argue Cooper Rush might honestly be better. But Brian Daboll, currently undefeated as a head coach. Giants have looked great these past 2 games. Yeah, they've played some mediocre teams in the Titans, who everyone's like, oh, Titans. Gotta be afraid of the Titans because they, number 1 seed AFC last year. Titans have not looked too good so far. And he beat the Panthers, who are also 0-2. Not very impressive. Now, this this isn't going to be as impressive as people believe, but this is definitely going to be a tone setter. If you manage to win this game against the Cowboys, you are going to be considered a playoff team, more than likely. Definitely not bottom tier team just because, you're the Giants. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Cowboys are going to beat you guys. I'm sorry. So that's it. Recapping my predictions, I have the Browns, Bills, Bengals, Titans, Panthers, Ravens, Vikings, Eagles, Chiefs, Bears, Chargers, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Falcons, 49ers, and Cowboys winning. I then have the Steelers, Dolphins, Jets, Raiders, Saints, Patriots, Lions, Commanders, Colts, Texans, Jaguars, Rams, Packers, Seahawks, Broncos, and Giants losing. Once again, I'm currently 13-3. I went 13-3 last week. Currently 20-11-1 in the season. And those are my picks. I kind of playing a bit risky, going for a lot of upsets, but I feel like this NFL season has been a shocker so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps happening. We have some shockers. So that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. Let me know you disagree with any picks in the comments. And I will see you guys next time. And remember, Thursday, tomorrow, we have tier list. Friday, we have Bears franchise Monday, Bears franchise Tuesday, power rankings. And then we're back to Wednesday with predictions. That's going to be the schedule until at least, the playoffs start for the NFL. They aren't going to change. The only thing that might change is we might move stuff around depending on how busy I am. And, if the NFL has to reschedule games and all that. And the only other thing that could change is you might see a Bears franchise on Saturday. There will never be a video on Sunday unless if I am running behind on work. On not work, but YouTube, But yeah, goodbye.